live on my page, live on cam, Money Church Monday, every Monday. We're a couple minutes behind this Monday, I ain't gonna front. Full accountability, right? I was hosting another meeting and I was moseying on over here for Money Church Monday. But I'm here, it's your pastor, Reverend J, Dr. Reverend J.D. Morrison. It's Money Church Monday, every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. This is a contribution that I want to give the culture, how to live rich in real life. This is the spirituality of economics. And we're really talking about how we move the culture forward, how we move our legacies forward. And Money Church Monday, for you who don't know, who's new, we're just hopping on live. What's that? Is that me?
That's you.
Oh, that's me. I'm dinging. All phones quiet on set. For everybody that's new to Money Church Monday platform, this is a podcast, if you will, soon to be a professional podcast. Right now it's a freestyle podcast, but it's really about legacy building. And it's about operating at the highest frequency, what we call living rich in real life. Rich not meaning bling bling and just paper money, but rich meaning currency meaning energy meaning frequency meaning vibrations. And so always excited to be able to give back something outside of just a financial lecture, but talk about some of the intangibles that we need as a culture to continue to build. And so today, man, I'm all over the place today. It's one of them Mondays, man. Like, listen, Mondays don't be perfect. No day be perfect, but Mondays damn sure don't be perfect. But today, what we want to build on is awesome experiences in a way that I've been living. Like, I'm super intentional outside of running multiple companies, outside of building a national brand, outside of building wealth in my whole life journey. As many of you know, poverty kid, high school dropout, former 3-time felon, former inmate, 2.5 years in prison, turned my life around at 25 years old, former trap star, then turned into entrepreneur, landlord, investor, developer, mortgage company branch manager, celebrity realtor, author, real estate mogul, fund manager, all of that in real life. And through my journey, I love to give back parts of my testimony, my experiences, and most importantly, I've developed some spiritual alignment in life. It's cool to say mogul, it's cool to say house flipper, wholesaler, and all the things that excite us if we're already making money. But if we don't have spiritual alignment, in my opinion, you're not walking in your best use of this life that God gave us, that Allah gave us, that Jehovah gave us, that Jesus gave us, that the universe gave us, that the Creator gave us, that Mother Nature gave us, however you see him, her, or it. We are non-religious here on Money Church Monday, but we are about having full spiritual alignment. So, how I was raised and what my values and principles are, I believe in family, right? So I believe in the value of investing in and being intentional about building our legacy and nurturing our family. And family is a lot of hard freaking work. So I'm not just talking about my daughters, I'm not just talking about my wife, I'm not just talking about immediate family, but I'm talking about our parents, I'm talking about our siblings, I'm talking about cousins, aunties, uncles, I'm talking about our grandparents, and really nurturing, especially the elders in our family. So what I'm inspired by, what I want to jump right into with us is, I've shared this a couple of Money Church Mondays ago. I'm very close to my grandmother, my gram, I call her. In the 80s, my mom was a teenage mom, and she was ripping and running the streets after she had me. And my grandma took very, very good care of me. And she was my backbone, she was my rock, she was my big mama. She was my big mom, my mom, all the names we use for Gram and grandma. And what Gram did that was so dope for me, outside of, bring me to church, not Money Church, but real church on Sunday, outside of youth ministry, outside of Wednesday Bible study, outside of Tuesday prayer service, outside of Thursday choir rehearsal, and outside of Sunday school, Graham would also bring me around the country when they had like the National Baptist Church conventions. So outside of being in my small town of Somerville, New Jersey, or Plainfield, New Jersey, I was able to be exposed to different environments at an early age because of my Graham. So, my mom was running the streets. My mom was on welfare, was on WIC, and was poor. But Grandma's doing all right. You know what I'm saying? Graham kept a job. Graham had a little baggy bag. So Graham really invested in me, and she would take me to New Orleans when I was like 7, 8, 9 years old. She took me to Atlanta back in the early 90s for the National Baptist Church Convention. She took me to Detroit. She took me to Jamaica for a ministry, a foreign ministry our church did in Jamaica. So these seeds that Graham planted help expose the young Jay Morrison to like what the world has to offer outside of his small town. And I wouldn't be Jay Morrison without Graham's investment into me. Like, not only did Graham take me on these trips, but she would buy me my short sets, right? I had my Atlanta Braves short set. I had my Nelson Mandela short set with my African medallion. Graham got me my Reebok pumps. She got me my Jordans. I didn't have none of the fly shit. It was up to my mom. And, you know, I had, 3 other siblings, and, we grew up a different kind of way. But my Graham is the one that got me a lot of the extras and had me, looking fly sometimes, and would really take care of me and pour into me. And now that my Graham's 80 years old, the last 2 years, my Graham's been suffering from dementia, meaning like she, has memory loss and, other functions of dementia. And it's sad shit to see you rocked, to see somebody that's been just so independent her whole life, now, going through the, symptoms and, all that of that, right? So my whole life, when I was a realtor in 2006 or 7, I was a realtor that sold my Graham's house. When I was on parole in 2002, my Graham gave me a shot to refinance her house. Mind you, I'm 22 years old, on parole, coming off a prison sentence, got signed up with a mortgage company, and my Graham trusted me to refinance her house, right? That was my second refinance. My Aunt Karen let me refinance her house, and my Graham let me refinance her house. Those are my first 2 times going through the loan process. That's how I learned financing so well, right? This is how my Graham poured into me. My grandmother also let me list her house as a realtor, right? When I first became a realtor. And then my Graham ended up moving next to me in my condo in Jersey. And my Graham was like, she would come over twice a week. She would cook for me. She would clean the crib. Like, Graham was like my in-house. You know what I'm saying? So I would compensate her for doing so. She would watch my kids. Like, Graham was Graham. I'm talking all the way up to my 20s, 30s. Graham held it down for me. I remember having literally, this is real, true shit. I had 100,000 cash in a safety deposit box. Graham was the only person with the key. Now, she spent like $1,500 for some stuff, but we was cool, you know what I'm saying? That was Graham, she had it, you know what I mean? But me and my Graham was like, still are, ace close. But as she got older, no matter if I traveled, even when I moved out of state, even when I came here to Atlanta, she's in Jersey, I always, checked in every week with Graham at the latest, and I always made trips to check on my grandmother. Tonight's Money Church Monday is inspired by some stories I'm going to tell you, but it's Exodus 20:12, right, out the Bible. Again, we're non-religious. We just using a little blueprint, little framework. Honor your father and mother so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. So I always have been intentional about honoring my mother and father, honoring my elders, honoring those who helped give me life. My grandma helped give me life. Without her, my mom's not here, I'm not here. And that's just a part of, I think, some values that we've lost. And I want to break down that honor piece a little bit. But what I put on my Instagram post for those who saw this and watched this, some of you guys watching a replay of this, is before the culture, right? This culture we all a part of. Before the culture corrupted us, many of us, we had Big Mom's value. We had Graham's values. We had Momma's values. And I think we lost and we got away from a lot of those values. What I mean by those values is there's certain things you just wouldn't say, you wouldn't do, in certain ways you wouldn't behave if Graham was watching you. And so there's 2 lessons I want to give. One is our intentionality about loving on, honoring, supporting, calling, visiting, and really being intentional about loving on our elders and loving on and honoring our parents and those who came before our parents. Like, a lot of us, we so fast and so busy and so popular, we get away from that shit. And that's just a core value I believe if you want to live at the highest frequency, again, Money Church Monday is about not just money, it's about rich, meaning currency, frequency, vibrations, living rich in real life. So, again, no matter how much, I could be partying, Vegas, all the cool shit, right? All the shit we want to do, I always keep my roots back home, right? You should never get away from, no matter how popular, how much business you're doing, how much you're flipping, wholesaling, entrepreneuring, all that. You should never get away from the roots and back home and honoring your mother, your father, your grandmother, your grandfather, those come before you. Now, some of our parents, they haven't earned that right. We've tried to honor them, and they threw that away. And I get that too, right? Like, I believe that you can't pacify adults. And if your parents or grandparents aren't playing ball, they're not showing you love, I'm not saying you disrespect them, but there is a period and point. Sometimes you got to cut off your elders and cut off your parents I believe in protecting your energy at all costs. So if your parents or grandparents are energy thieves, you may have to be careful of that, but still honor them within a distance, right? So I do believe in not pacifying adults and protecting our energy at all costs. I want to look up the word honor real quick, and then I want to get back into the culture corrupting us and our values. This is something that King Clinton and I, shout out to King Clinton, happy Arrival Day, happy Earth Day, happy Born Day, my king. Thank you. You are an honorable man. He's one of our partners and colleagues and staff members here, and I want to shout him out, King Clinton Skinner. What's up? So, to honor means high respect, great esteem, adherence to what is right, or to a conventional standard of conduct. Ooh, I love that. Think about this. To honor is adherence to what is right or to a conventional standard of conduct. Bruh, sis, this is what we lost. We lost what our conventional standard of conduct is. Right now, we just wild west. There's like no standard of conduct for how we act. And that's where I want to get into the full part of the lesson. So again, everybody share this, like this, comment. I or my team will read comments. I want to make this interactive. But check this out. There's so much we do on the gram and on YouTube and in comments and in real life that if our big mama, if our gram was watching how many of us behave, was on our shoulder, they would smack us upside the head for the shit we be saying and shit we be doing in real life. We've gotten, we get grown and we start feeling ourselves and feel like we can do whatever we want. But we get away from honoring Big Mama, honoring Gram. We get away from honoring them by not adhering to the code of conduct and the general principles in which they raised us under. Now, I understand we grown and we can do what we want. So we're not going to be running around here like 5-year-old and 7-year-old little boys and girls. But some of us, we push way too far past the standards in which we were raised and they sacrificed to bring us up under. And that's what this Money Church Monday is about. When we talk about honoring, we're talking about adhering a code of conduct and principles. I was talking to King Clinton, and I was thinking before, I heard Snoop Dogg for the first time in 94. Before I heard NWA. Before I heard Dr. Dre. Before I heard Hove. And many of the things that got me into the culture and disrespecting women with my talk, disrespecting women or our fellow brothers with my talk and my actions, being more rebellious and rambunctious in society. Before the culture corrupted us, many of us had some real fucking values. Like we had some standards, like we had some certain ways of things, the way we dress, the way we move, holding doors, saying thank you, saying please. Like this certain kind of shit that many of us, I'll probably say 80% of us, grew up with some real freaking values. And then as the culture brainwashed us like that shit was corny and all the disrespectful, rebellious shit was cool, we just dumped all the Gram's values. We just dumped all Mama's values. And I'm talking about them values where you knew there was certain stuff you said or didn't say when you got in Graham's house. You knew if you were smoking weed, you knew to spray yourself down or air yourself out before you walked to Mama's house. You knew if your homeboys, they came in and they had a little more ratchet family, you knew to check them at the door. They came in with their shit into mama house. You knew at a certain time that you ain't even dare come in the house, come in late. Well, you had to sneak in the window. You try to get in mama house. You try to get in grand house. There was a certain code of conduct, a certain code of ethics, that we just don't. And that's what we're seeing, where our days are getting shorter and shorter in the land that God has given us. Because we are not, many of us have lost, and I'm talking about, think about some of the things that we say disrespectful into somebody's comments, right? Where we have lost our freaking mind. And I want to curse, but I feel bad for cursing now. I feel like Graham might be watching. Some of us have lost our damn mind and how we feel like, oh, because of social media or because we grown, we talking bad about people. We are like, we like, I'm trying to think of the words, like, we hurting feelings, we what we call trolling. We know that shit go against all the values we was brought up against, where we was told, if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. What happened to that shit? If you ain't got something, I'm not talking about for me, I'm talking about all of us. What happened to the values of, boy, if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all? What happened to them kind of values? What happened to manners and just general conduct? And so being around my grand this weekend and just getting a chance to, even in her dementia state, she still, she knows me, she recognizes me. She may not remember every day that we spend together, but I feel like it's a dishonor for her, it will be dishonoring her. The further and further I move away from the values in which she raised me, that made me the man I am, the further I move away from that, it's really a disservice and a dishonor to her legacy. And I think many of us got to make that Money Church Monday reality check. Think about your grandma, your grandpa, your pop-pop, your mama, and the values in which they raised you. And let's keep it real with ourselves. Remember, honest evaluation with ourselves is the only way we transform in life. We can't keep fooling ourselves. Honest evaluation, the 4 E's. Evaluate, eliminate, evolve, and execute. So we have to have an honest evaluation of ourselves. Eliminate the bad habits, people, places, and things that do not serve us and do not serve our legacy well. Then we have to evolve into the new us. And then we have to execute by walking that shit out daily. And so I'm not saying, again, that we're not going to be grown people doing what grown people do. We're going to date how we date. We're going to talk how we talk. But I think there has to be some level of self-accountability to the core values and to adhere to the core standards in which those who loved on us, who poured in us in the 80s and 90s, when many of our parents out there running ragged and wild, some of our grandparents stepped up and really loved on us and really nurtured us and really groomed us to the men and women we are today. And we are essentially letting them down and really disrespecting their legacy and their effort by the way that we behave and we act in today's society. And I think us missing mama standards and us putting rap standards, the culture standards, movie standards, music standards, all the cool shit that brainwashed us, Boys in the Hood, New Jack City, all the fly shit that we watched that made us feel like, the gangster shit, the pimp shit, all that shit was cool. Us moving way away from that and abandoning the people that actually mattered and who we matter to, who poured into us, that's us operating at a low frequency. So my challenge to all of us is to raise our frequency, right? My challenge to us is to sometimes, as we get into our little we grown bag, think about the conduct that we should adhere to. Think about, damn, if grandma's watching me right now, how would she feel about how I'm acting, how I'm talking, how I'm moving, how I'm behaving, how I'm treating other people, how I'm treating my woman or other women, how I'm treating our youth, how I'm treating other elders. And if you someone that's been without your grandparents, without your mama, without your pop-pop, there's other elders in the community who don't have any children or grandchildren that's loving on them or connecting with them. Go connect with another elder. What does it take for you every other week to go visit a senior citizen home? Go adopt a grandparent. Go connect with somebody. Go honor somebody else's mother or father who has dishonored them. So like we as a village, as a community, as a culture, like yes, we will not rise any greater to the degree we treat our women, and we certainly cannot rise to any greater degree than what we treat our elders. And I think we lost that core value because that hasn't been a cool thing. And it's up to us to make that cool and step up to the plate and to make that extra call or to make that extra visit or to make that extra trip. Because God willing, one day we'll be the elders. We'll be the OGs. And we'll be looking for somebody to come check on our old ass and tell about all the wisdom and experiences that we got for the children and grandchildren that we poured into. And as a culture, as a community, I feel like, we got so far away from them core standards, them core values that many of us, I can't say all of us, but I know many of us came up just like that and can relate. If you can relate to those core values, if you can relate to that, I want you guys to comment right now. I want you to type in an emoji. I want you to share this, like this. If you can relate to growing up with some real core values and standards that maybe you still got, maybe you're still acting on, maybe you moved away from, but you know at core you was raised right. There was many of us that was raised right, and we've just, in our maturity, in our growth, in our old age, have just moved away from the core values. So I wanted this Money Church Monday to be about challenging us to step back into mama's values, to grandma's values, to big mama's values, to pop-pop's values, to grandpop's values, and get back into how we should be moving, because these are the values we got to give down to our youngins. And that's why we see the youngins so lost in the streets. There's been a generation that has abandoned through the dope game, through the crack era, through the war on drugs, or whatever else, through the big pimping reality, through the culture. There's been a whole generation of us who have dumped our values for the bling bling and the shiny things because of the clout and credibility it gives us, because of the attention that it gives us, because of the likes and follows that it gives us. So we just dump. Like, think about some of the shit that many of us post on our IG pages. I'm talking about sexual pictures, ratchet type pictures and things. Imagine if your gram was scrolling and literally had access to your page. What would your gram think about your representation of yourself and her legacy that she poured into you? What would she think? We got to start holding our public personas, public perceptions, and just our public realities. We got to start holding ourselves accountable to being a better representation of our families, our last names, and the people that raised us. So this is what Money Church Monday was about honoring, right? So again, having some balance. I'm not saying we got to be out here, again, we not children, but having some balance to adhere to the conduct and core values many of us were brought with. I think that that's a way that you honor, outside of picking up the phone, outside of visiting Graham, but living a life that your Graham could be proud of, I think is a way, I know is a way that you can honor her. And whether you believe in the Bible or not, whether you believe in it coming from ancient Kemet or not, whether you believe in any kind of spirituality or not, I hope that you believe in the universal law of karma and the universal law of energy. By honoring our elders, by honoring and adhering to those core values, I believe that we'll be blessed with blessings in this land that God has given us, hopefully a long life with some longevity, or at least a respectable legacy. So if you don't physically live long, by honoring your elders, by honoring your parents and your parents' parents, we'd at least be giving a beneficial, a long, and some light on our legacy. So my goal here is to inspire y'all, man, to check yourself, to move at the highest frequency, to challenge yourself, to keep it real with yourself. And let's get off that mid-tier frequency, that low frequency, and let's raise the bar, and let's make those people that helped raise us super great. So King New, I want you in the comments real quick. I want to hear you guys' feedback. I want any questions. I want to hear about any stories. Again, we're on IG Live right now while we're doing this, and we're recording for our YouTube audience as well. But I want to hear what you guys got to say in regards to this message of before the culture corrupted us, we had Big Mom's values. And let's talk about what's some of those values that your Big Mama had, your Grandma had, your Grandpop had. What's some of those values, and where do you think that you guys can kind of maneuver better out here in these streets in real life and on these social media platforms in real life? Let me hear your feedback. What you got?
Nothing yet.
Y'all better get the typing. But again, guys, Money Church Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, every Monday, man. This is about how to live rich in real life, operating at the highest frequency. And as you see, I got my Legacy Center shirt on today. Guys, check out the Legacy Center, the Black House here in East Point, Georgia, Atlanta Metro. This is a business center, entrepreneur accelerator, a media house, a leasing space for all of us to grow our legacies.
I love the picture of you napping with your grandmother. Take care of home first.
Home first, absolutely. And yeah, I had a great opportunity this Sunday morning, man. My gran woke up, she wasn't feeling well. We laid on the couch together, and I got to just lay up under her. She put her arm around me, and and that's where I knew the feeling was right. And not just the feeling of love and all that, but the spiritual feeling was right for me to connect with my elder, connect with my grandmother, and just pour into her and just have that moment with her. I think, the more we do that, I think the better we all are aligned.
Where can I get the shirt?
Yeah, this shirt, we have like 1,000 of them here. We actually got to put them on our website for sale, purchase. But yeah, Legacy Center, the Black House, we'll make sure we get these shirts out to you guys. I don't know if we can get it right now. It's here at the Black House. That's where you can get it. You got to pull up. All right, so King Newt's reading. I'm not going to hold this tonight. I want to make sure I drop my message, do my part. What you got, King Newt?
When your children are acting up, show them love and keep loving them. Speak life into them.
Yeah, that's another thing too. As parents, I'm a parent, got 2 daughters, 20 and 11 years old. And we got to learn from some of the errors and mistakes of our parents in regards to not just being authoritarians. That's my perspective. Is that as parents, I grew up under more of authoritative parentship, which is like, yo, just do what the hell I say because I said it. I think as parents, we got to take a perspective of obviously holding our stature as parents, but also teaching and grooming and loving, disciplining with love, and not just being dictators and authoritarians, although our children should listen to us. But we definitely want to do so from the perspective of learning from how we were parented and evolving and basically building on that.
You said most older people didn't give us the game. That's the problem. And can you add solid values and core values to your corner class?
Yeah, I want to speak on that. I've heard comments like people like, hey, our older people, our elders didn't give us the game. But a lot of times we didn't seek out the game from our elders. Or if our elders didn't give us the game, we didn't seek out the game from other elders. Outside of my grandparents, I build and have built with other elders in the community just to get wisdom, whether it be in my family or outside my family. So I think a lot of times it's not the promoted cool thing to do to be chilling with an old person, to put it frank, or an elder. But yo, it's a lot of value from just sitting there and keeping them company and picking their brain, getting their knowledge and pouring into them as well. So as King Newt reads, I'm going to close out for us again. Always challenging everybody to step your game up. It's Jay Morrison, Pastor Reverend Dr. J.D. Morrison, the host of Money Church Monday. It's about the spirituality, economics of a rich in real life. What you got to do?
Do the founders get a truck pin?
We're working on the founders getting a Trev pin. The problem is, if we mail all 9,700 or 8,600 founders out Trev pins, it costs. Therefore, it costs us, it costs you. And so I think you'd rather us investing in real estate as opposed to Trev pins, but we're working out that balance right now. So I love for all founders to get our Trev pin. We'll work on that because I believe that we are the movement, all of us. And so we'll work on that. Good question. Guys, I'm going to see you guys back on Money Church Monday, next Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, IG Live. We'll be building up this podcast platform, and the whole goal is just, again, to raise the frequency, man, give a different kind of message to the culture, and really to be vulnerable, allow you guys in on my life experiences, things I'm learning and adjusting to. I'll see y'all next week, 7 p.m. Eastern. What you smiling at now?
Say, I'll pay for my shipping and handling.
We might do that. Trev Prince free. Just shipping and handling. We'll figure that one out. Thank y'all, man. Love y'all. Again, guys, legacycenter.com. You want to learn more about our financial services, our Black House building. If you want to be a member of our company, TulsaRealEstateFund.com, and the best wealth education on the planet, jay-morrison-academy.com. Thank you guys for joining us. Again, Money Church Monday, MCM, 7 p.m. Eastern.
You're asking about the tours of Legacy.
LegacyCenter.com. Book your tours, all that. Everything's on the website. I'll see you guys there. Thank you guys for tuning in this Monday. See you next Monday. Living rich, frequency, currency in real life. Trefler.